Aloha, and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Hooray! My panelists, my most regular panelist ever, Lori Tibitot, has service once again. She's gone into a place where she has service. I've been checking it out a little bit spotty. It slows down sometimes. We'll see if it's manageable. Let's have some fun with Lori. Lori, did you have something you wanted to share right at the beginning?
Should I talk about what is happening here?
Of course.
Like happening.
That's freaking
awesome. The refrigerator in the camper stopped working this morning on power. It's working on, seemingly stopped working because I got to see today that this wants to bitch about it. But there's laughter happening, and there's that space that's for the first time really felt today, even in the midst of apparent bitching about it. Even talking with the others about it. There was a calm. It was more like watching the whole thing happening right there, over there. Instead of being in it or attached to it. That's what it felt like. Like there was no attachment to what was coming out, what was being said, what was being projected. And this all happened within the past 2 hours because I had typed to you earlier on Messenger that I wanted to talk about. I didn't understand. I mean, because the refrigerator doesn't work and this is apparently not happening. And then I went and had this experience with these other people, and wow, they turned us on to somebody else, somebody who's going to come here to see it. We'll see how it turns out, but I'm not attached.
That's the thing.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how it turns out. It's a thing.
It's okay no matter what.
Yeah, totally. That's the thing. It just really doesn't matter because it's completely meaningless what's swirling around. So, the stories, basically the world is like made up of stories, swirling, swirling, swirling. Let it swirl around. And, you just watch it. Do it swirling. And it doesn't matter what the outcome of things are, because everything right there is completely meaningless. Only outcome that matters is the outcome that you made the world for. And that
made it for we made it for seeing through the illusion that we are separate from God.
Yes, you got it. You can say that seeing is healing. It's healing the mistaken self-belief. And these stories that are swirling, swirling, swirling around, they don't even need to come to any kind of end. They just can just dissolve at one point.
Okay, dissolve.
Yeah, there's just no need for there's no need for anyone to have stories unless there is guilt in the mind. So it's like the story is just like there, let them be while there are stories, let the stories be. Because when you perceive the stories, you get a physical reaction to them. So watch that physical reaction, because it's through that you're going to keep on allowing the self-belief to be healed. And as you're allowing the self-belief to be healed, you're getting closer and closer perception-wise to seeing who you are, to recognizing who you are, and what world you are really um, alive with. One way of saying it, because there's no aliveness in this world. It's really, we are that aliveness, and what we perceive is basically like a dream of death.
Right, like it's finite, like there's an end.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the way these stories are set up, they have to supposedly come to an end, and they don't have to come to an end. It doesn't have to end in death even. So it's like the story of the refrigerator going out, or any kind of irritation type thought that has been deemed an irritation by someone. you just watch that spin around, do it spinning around, and just laugh and have fun. Nothing's happening. It reminds me of, how Abraham Hicks would talk about a vortex. It reminds
Yeah.
me of a vortex, how I see it. Like the world is like this vortex, spinning, spinning, spinning. and it's fed off of our emotion. It's fed off of fear. Hey, Phoebes, I love you. So any perceived story is for the same thing. It's for seeing through it. It's for recognizing the truth. And all it takes to recognize the truth is willingness. Willingness. Are you willing to deny truth to that illusion? You'll notice a heaviness when you get a body reaction, you get a physical reaction to, and remember, even physical reactions, they're mental projections. Okay, you just feel them physical. It's a mental projection. But you get this really physical reaction to something, and it seems like that thing is really real, and it's like some pressure on you. There's like some pressure on you now. It's like you've taken on some fear, you've taken on some fearful thought, and now you feel a little bit irritated or something like that. And and just noticing that you're taking on this thing that's just swirling around and really being taken care of, like all by itself. It doesn't even need you to get any kind of emotional over it at all, and it's just playing out. It's like it, and then there's all these other stories, and it's just like swirling around like this, and it's just like, let it swirl around. It's like there's this mind that wants to get into that. It sees this tornado and wants to just like dive into that tornado and get all fucked up and swung around with the wind and stuff. You come off the ride and you're like, whoa, that was intense. It's like you're all tore back after that. When you can just let that spinning spin, and let it take care of itself. Let all the different voices talk to themselves.
Yeah.
You don't see, there's a couple things. You don't want anything in the world, and you don't know what's best for you. So there's no need to worry about how anything is going or what's going to happen. because it's all coming in exactly the way it needs to. And you adding any worry to it doesn't help matters at all. In fact, everything's made to be played with. Everything's made to be fearful. Bob Shine. This world must disappear. It is impossible in the presence of one love light. It's one word. Okay, one love light. All right, that's one way to say it. There aren't any problems in the world once you see this light. Yes. Like a vampire that can't stand the light. The light. Death is put to death. Okay. Yeah. So, the idea of death itself, that is finite. Right? That's not something that can last. That's why, in the dream world, if you believe in love and you also believe in death, you don't know love. You don't know what love is. You're not talking about love. Love doesn't end. Death is an idea that's going to end. So that kind of love that's like can be reconciled with death. That kind of love, it always leads to its opposite, which is death. Another way of saying that is fear. There's no such thing as anything that can take you off balance, so to speak. So you just remember, I'm doing this. I'm taking myself off balance. I'm using that thing to take myself off balance. And I'm not really off balance. You could say it like this: I'm using that thing to paint a picture of myself as if I'm off balance. I'm using that particular perception to paint a picture of myself like that. And if I'm painting a picture of myself like that, I'm going to also be demanding punishment for that ill picture of myself.
Guilty. That's where it feels guilty.
Yes. Yes. It's like seeking for punishment. So when you notice, go ahead.
Because the guilt hurts.
Yes. Yes. That's why I say any upset feeling, keep watching for any upset feeling, because any upset feeling is an indication that you're believing something that's not true. You're believing in a lie. You're believing in a mistake you made about yourself. Like you could say a really long time ago in the illusion of time. And then all these other illusions and delusions are colored over it. Like now my name is Lori, and now I have this husband, and now I have this house, and now I don't have a house. Now I'm in a trailer, It's funny. Let those things spin around, like burn themselves out without you diving in there and feeding it energy. It just takes care of itself.
Mm. All the while, that space of calm is just here.
Yep. And now the world, as you know it, is calming down.
Mm. And it's not looking calm right now because there wasn't a calmness here before. Hmm.
Yeah, you get the relaxation. You sense that relaxation of being the one that's staying still while everything's turning.
Mm.
So you get that deep sense of relaxation. So the world can't help still but be a reflection of your mind. So, but your sense of calmness in the midst of it gets to be more sure, more certain, more prevalent.
Mm.
That sense of peace and calm in the midst of whatever. It shows you that there's nothing in the world that can move you. You have to have authority. You have the authority over that.
Ah, that's what you meant by you have the dominion over it all.
Right. You see. Yay.
Uh-huh.
That's always so much fun.
You said that for a long time, and I never understood. Huh.
But look how persistent you are.
Yeah.
You've been making it a priority. It's like first you have the faith. You see something, you go, wow, I know I can have that. I can have that sense of peace. You see something and you have the faith, and then you start to trust, and then you really, it's like you become willing, and you become more wholly willing when you see the effects of what it is to allow love, and allow the world to be as it is. I mean, allow it to spin around. It's like stories. There's this one song, oh my gosh, I love this song. It's probably called Flowers and Death. It's really good. How does it go? Oh yeah. All of these stories of flowers and death, spinning, spinning around. It's a really good song. I recommend it. It's a good meditation song.
That up.
Yeah, it's probably called Flowers and Death. That's what I'm guessing.
Um, yeah, I am seeing this whole thing is like your lava experience. And I really am glad you went first.
Me too. It was perfect.
Yeah. And I am going to be saying that here too. Because it's not there yet. Well, it is, but it's not completely realized yet.
I keep
But
on being willing to see it as it really is, though.
yes,
One thing is what the perception says, but that's not how it really is. It's like this idea of love what is, and you don't fucking know what is first, You think that what you're having a perception is what is. It's not. That's not. It's what is not. Whatever you're having a perception of, that's what is not. So,
Mm.
what is the opposite. You're not limited. You're not guilty. You're not separate. You don't owe anyone anything. It's the opposite of what it tries to represent to you. The complete opposite of that. To be willing to know yourself as that, more as what you are. None of us know ourselves completely. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do this on Zoom, or nor would we want to. But we wouldn't need to.
Right. There would be none of us
Right.
here.
Right. Yeah, like the insanity is is getting less and less and less, but it takes insanity to hold a body in a dream, hold the body propped up in a dream like that. So as that gets worn away, worn down, you can say, and we're seeing each other more clearly, then we're not afraid of each other, and we're not making illusions of harming each other. We no longer live in a world where we feel like there's violence outside of ourselves.
Ooh. Because we're all that same thing.
Yes. It's all mind energy, and nothing's happening. That's the real truth. It's like a dream. Like when you go to sleep and you have a dream at night. Okay, it seems like stuff is happening. It is not happening. Everyone dreaming is completely innocent. Everyone in dreaming is completely innocent, and you can say that the only thing you can say, the only purpose that the body is for demonstrating to everyone, including yourself, that you're only innocent, and nothing that you seem to do in the dream has changed that at all. That's all it's even for. So the body, and when I say the body, that includes all of the body's thought. All of the body's thoughts. The body's thoughts is something about the refrigerator. That's the body's thought. You can say that. It's fully projected by the mind, and it's for the body. It's like in the physical sense, it's a brain interpretation of energy, but it's only interpreted for the body sense, which you're not. That's why it's not about you. Nothing that you perceive is about you. It doesn't really concern you. So you don't have to be concerned. You could say you can show concern, like what people might think is show concern, like be making telephone calls and stuff, but you're not feeling this sense of concern over it as if it's like something that, hopefully it goes this way. Who gives a shit which way it goes? It doesn't matter. Hopefully it. Listen to that when you say hopefully or unfortunately. Hopefully is as if there can be a bad outcome. It doesn't mean it's bad to say that. I'm not recommending eliminating it from your vocabulary. I don't say I don't say you should eliminate anything from your vocabulary.
Just watch it. See it.
Yes, you see it play out, and then you're not automatically unconsciously buying into it. So like if I find myself, and a lot of the times this occurs to me, like if I talk about a word like that, the next thing you know, I'll find myself using it in a sentence, and then and it'll just make me laugh, and that's all it's for. It's like entertainment. It can just make you laugh. It doesn't have to be taken as if it's true, as if you actually do hope that it goes a certain way, because it's as if you actually do know what's best for you.
Or as if something could go wrong.
Yes, exactly. And that includes anything. I mean, even if you're talking about death, a lot of people get worried about someone dying. Like they'll hear, oh, it's dark and rainy out, and they're coming home. I'm really worried about them dying. You might even have visions of someone dying or something like that, and get all worked up and worried about it. When you take, you're actually willing to see that even if that were to occur, it would be perfect. It would be exactly the thing that was necessary. It would be, and it's not, and it is a dream. That's why it's not a heavy thing. It's not. It never is, and it can't seem to occur. It can't play out like that unless it's for healing. So it's gonna play out the way it needs to play out. That's why there's never anything to worry over.
Mm. So funny because I spent the whole summer literally worrying about everything. And I see it had to be.
Yeah.
be.
Wasn't it fun? I liked
You
it. I love it all. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it all. I love all the seeming insanity.
Mm.
Really wonderful. It's really
It
fun.
it really does seem insane, and it's like can how can this world even work? I mean, it seems to flow. I mean, it's flowing, and it's insanity.
It's flowing insanity.
Flowing insanity.
Yes, completely.
Well, I guess it's all God, so of course it's going to flow.
Yes, it's of course it's going to flow. It's all it you could say it's all God's love that gives it any kind of juice, you know? It's just that it's like this web of delusion painted over it. I like to say it's like a painting. It's like painted on top of it. It's like this darkness painted on top of it. It's like the real world, God's world that's below the surface is all light. It doesn't have any darkness painted upon it. It doesn't have any death painted upon it. As if they go together. As if light and death go together. That's fun. It's a fun one. It's like God doesn't know about your dreams of death. God has no idea about the dreams of death that are being painted like that. You made that up. You made that up, and then under the ego's guidance, it's like you're angry at God. Like God did this to you. God doesn't even know about this. God doesn't share that kind of perception with you. You can say God only sees everyone, including yourself, as holy, as his only beloved, let's say. Or her, if you want to do it like that. I don't mind. It doesn't matter because there's no such thing as his and hers. We made that shit up.
Um, it's the light. God is the light.
Yeah, you could say God is the creator, Yulia. And it's not in the words. It's not in the words. Like, God is the one that loves you. I just like it. It just came to me at like right as those words were spoken. It's like this sense of just being loved and held. You know, God is the one. God is the only one that loves you. Put it like that. And to God, you are everything. And God's joy is loving you. Let's put it like that. You can use another word for it if that floats your boat. You can say, what is it? Source. Source. Good. Ah, thank you for loving it when I laugh. I love to laugh. I love to laugh. Yay. Oh, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. I always thought that we're all God and everything is God and nothing is separate from God. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's why it's like you could say we are extensions of God, like that. It's not separate. It's not a projection. It's not a projection. The image that we make of ourselves, now that's a projection. That's a projection. You can say, in a sense, it's separate from who you are. It's definitely not who you are. It's an image of what you are not. Bones and flesh and blood and teeth. and a mind that thinks for itself as a self. See? God forgetting he or she is God. Yes. Is that what we are? Well, we're not the forgetting part. We're not the forgetting part. And for a lot of people, they take it as, okay, if I'm God, then I'm God over the world, and I'm going to make the world serve me in a certain way. Well, that's a lot of how manifesting kind of spirituality goes, you know, like I'm God, and yeah, I'm God, and I'm separate from all this. I'm going to make it my bitch. Yeah, not like that. You could say we're extensions of God. One way of saying it is children of God. Um, there's different ways of saying that, but you could say God is the creator, and we, as in um, the one, it's only one child. One child. Look at it as one child with many different facets, many different possibility, much more potential, all this different potential. And we know one another as the created. We know one another as the created. As in the same way as God created being. Okay? As in only innocence, only love, incapable of harm, deathless. That's the way we really know each other. Is that we're having perceptions of each other in a completely different way. Like we're separate, we're vulnerable, we may be perceiving sickness, weakness, stress. So it's up to us to look through that, what's being presented to us, and recognize what's really here. And it's all it is. And the simplest, it's all it is just a little bit of willingness. Little bit of willingness. To just let yourself see. Are you willing to see that person that you're holding guilty, whether it be yourself, someone that you blame, God, anything? Are you willing to see that you're wrong about that? That you're just completely wrong about that? And I know it hurts in certain situations, especially, you know, it really feels like someone did something terrible. And there's this wish to hold on to that. But here's the thing I share with my friends is, you know, when you hold on to any guilt for another person, what you're asking for is the punishment, that you receive the punishment that you think they have coming. You're asking for that for yourself, whatever punishment you think they have coming. So if you're willing to see that, and you see that you're not going to be motivated to hold anyone out as if they're guilty, you see exactly what it's doing. And, you know, by the way, it's like it's holding him in time as well, him or her. It's holding them in time as well with you. It's like you're not allowing your release, and you're not allowing their release. They're just another part of you in your mind. See? So the perception, you know, it's always changing, but it seems to be remaining the same because it's the same story over and over and over again. That's why people can get healed through you, by recognizing that there's not sick, there's nothing wrong. They're not insane. That's a common one too. You know, people will feel bothered by a particular person that they think is insane, out of their mind. Um, I don't know, not in their right mind is another way of putting it. Not thinking straight, another way of putting it.
Or
So
they're
stupid, yep. I'll notice it in my mind, like someone will be talking to me and then a little dagger will go out like, what a dumbass, you know, and I'll just like laugh at that. It's not me saying it. These kinds of thoughts are just offered. They're just offered up. Bob Shine says, in a creationship with God, the man I see is the man I be. Then there's this thing about creating your own reality, and it's not like that at all. It's not like the way it's looked upon, like trying to get into trying to get into some kind of spiritual practice that brings about worldly results. There's no problem with that at all. I mean, that's part of what people go through. I mean, there's all kinds of books on how to use psychology and spirituality to get what you want, even negotiate the best business deals and stuff like that. There's no problem with it at all. And then at the same time, you could use those kinds of principles, those same kind of principles, and turn all of the effort inward to allowing everyone, including yourself, to be seen in innocence, to look past what you see, to look past what you see that is holding itself up as basically a denial of love. Oh, aloha, Cynthia. Thank you for joining. I love you. There's a lot of power in denial. A lot of power in denial. The kind of denial where you deny any truth to illusions. So say a person is appears to be demanding something of you. Say they're demanding something of you. This is a common one I see, like maybe in a romantic relationship. I've also seen it in friendships, where there's an energy play where it looks like one person wants the other person to do something, and it's taken as if one person is asking the other person to sacrifice something. And there's this sense of feeling threatened by the request. Sometimes it's not even a request. Sometimes it comes out as a demand. I want this of you. I want you to work harder, for instance. I want you to get out of bed right now. No one's ever making any demands on you. That's only a feeling. It doesn't matter how much it looks like that. That is you propping them up like that. So when you recognize that you're just even willing to see that you're propping them up like that, you know, you're going to be given the sight to see through the appearance. You're going to be able to see through the appearance. It's just that there needs to be a willingness. Remember that, just a willingness in the moment where it seems like someone really is being demanding of you. They're saying, come on, hurry up, let's go. Or they're saying, I want you to give me free chicken every day. I don't know. Someone's got that going on somewhere. you know, you can look past that surface, what it looks like they really want from you. All they're asking for is love. All they're asking for is love. However that looks as far as what's given to them on the surface, that just plays out all by itself. But, you know, if you're open to all they're asking for is love, and that's the love that you need, that's really the love that you need. You're offering it. You're offering it to them. It just takes willingness to see who they are, to recognize who they are. You know, when you recognize who they are, you offer it to them automatically because you've received it already. As soon as you recognize who they are, you've received it. You know, so it's like, let me see through this. What appears on the surface as if someone's demanding something of me. Let me see through this. See? And when you get that, you can allow your energy, your body, you know, it'll just relax. It'll just relax in it. All of your energy body will just relax in it. And then and then it's easy to say no. It's easy to say no in a way that is not in playing on that energy as if you're deserving of punishment for saying no. See? You'll have a kind of confidence when you're willing to see the person as they are. You'll have a certain kind of confidence where you can trust how everything's going. So when your body, you get the body sense of reacting in fear, you could be with that fearful reaction and let whatever is playing out, a person coming up to you and telling you something like that, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It's not there. It's only a projection. What's underneath that is an energetic play. It's in the energetic play where you could allow healing to happen. It's in that energetic play because it's like energetically you're automatically pushing against an uncomfortable feeling. And in pushing against, you can sense this if you look into it, there's this pushing away of it. And in the pushing away of it, that's where you cannot communicate because you're pushing away, you're resisting. You cannot communicate. You can't communicate a yes or a no without adding to the conflict. Okay?
Makes sense.
That's why people get the sense that they're cornered. And so since you can't make a yes or a no without conflict, it's like eventually the cornered one energy builds up enough before they lash out because they feel victimized because they're in a corner. See? So notice that energy play. It helps when you're watching from either side, whether you're the cornerer or the corneree. It helps in watching from either side, and in the watching, it's like you resonate more with compassion. It's one way to say it. You resonate more with compassion around all these kinds of energy plays and all these kinds of circumstances that arise. And in that, everything can relax. You can get a sense of relaxation.
Then it'll all play out perfectly.
Exactly. The right things are always said, you know, even through you. Even through you. I notice that. It's like the quieter I am, the more the things that come out of my mouth touch someone. You know, I could just sit quietly. That's how I experienced one, quote mediation that I was asked to do this past week. I would call it more of an interpretation than a mediation. It was like an interpretation because there was automatic resistance going back and forth. When someone would say something, there would be a reaction and a feeling of upset and not really hearing. No one can really hear what the other person is saying. No one can really interpret it from the heart space to see what's really being asked for on both sides. So, you know, in sitting and just watching the energy, I don't care about the words. It doesn't even matter to me. They're nothing. They're completely meaningless. They're just watching these energies playing back and forth. And then it just becomes really clear to me what each person really would like to express. And then when that's expressed, and it's like, yes, that is it. That is the way that is the way I see it. And thank you for expressing it like that. Then the other person be like, oh, really? Like, it's like the eyes are open. It's like, oh, that's how it is. It's like the eyes are open and the hearts are joined, you know. And it's just like, forget about what all the circumstances are. Just forget about all of that. You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. I want to do it this way, you know. It's like it's not like everyone's open to seeing everything as being one thing and seeing everything as being innocent and everything like that. That doesn't mean that you can't help them, because you could look past that too. Doesn't mean you have to teach them anything. It's all about holding them in a safe space. And you know how you hold them in a safe space, you allow that safety and protection of comfort to come in for yourself. And that's what, you know, what being quiet is, kind of like being quiet is. So my mind's not taking their words and trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong and who needs to do what and what, like that. It's just looking at how the energy play is. And when there's upset arising, that means that there's misunderstanding. And it's like, it just shows itself when you're willing to see, you're willing to step back. And it could be your own conflict, you could say, because there is no conflict. That's a thing. I'm 100% sure there isn't any. But there could be this perception of you're having some conflict with another person. And, you know, when you get kind of the third person view on that and are watching how that energy play is, you know, you just start to have so much compassion. You're given that capacity to have compassion and see what's going on, see what each person really needs, yourself including, and that what the other person really needs. And you can see how that it can be held like that, how they can be held and you can be held both at the same time with no sacrifice anywhere.
I have a something that happened like this down at my sister's. She wanted to go to the boat races, and the one that was going to be driving the boat, I could feel trepidation in his, like he really didn't want to, he wasn't really committed. He was the one that was going to do the boat thing. And my sister, she calls herself the boat whore. Anybody who wants to, she wants to go. And so she was kind of pushing it a little bit, and he committed, but it wasn't, I could feel that it wasn't 100%. So we go to his house for just the night before. They had a little party. So we went there, and they started talking about it immediately, and I could feel more of his trepidation in the things that he said. And all of a sudden he said, well, I'm not this. He was talking about how long it was going to be, and his dog was going to be alone for that much time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't usually away from the house that long. And I could feel his unease about it. And it wasn't picked up by anybody. So I said, Peter and I didn't want to go on the boat. It was just not something we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I just said, we'll come and let Thor out. We'll come and let him out. And I literally could see his relief. Both of them, him and his wife, were completely, would you do that? You know? And it was all from a feeling I got from days before when the whole thing started. And then when they came out with the dog thing right there, I could feel it. That was their upset or whatever. Not really upset, but lack of complete commitment to doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then an idea. We went to their house and let the dog out and stayed with him for an hour or whatever. It all worked out. So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it just comes.
Third party.
Yes, it's like a third party view of the whole situation. It's like you're just watching how the energies are playing, and you know exactly what is needed of you, and it's done for you. Do you notice that that kind of answer just like flies right out?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Just from your noticing.
From the feeling,
Mhm.
the noticing, actually the noticing first, then came the feeling, and then came the solution, which
Yep.
wasn't even
Wasn't even what?
thought about.
Yes. Yeah, that's why, there's nothing to do. You don't even have to follow any thoughts about how am I going to get in here. Just don't interfere. That's the thing. That's what that means. Interference is where you're running interference with thoughts. You're making up fantasy situations, and you're trying to solve it by yourself. And it's not like that at all. It's way more playful than that. Thank goodness. It's way more fun than that. It's like, oh, let's see how it plays out. What will come up?
Let's see how the refrigerator plays out.
Exactly.
Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like, you're taking it in a way that it doesn't matter what happens too. It really doesn't matter what happens, because whatever it is, it's for the same exact thing. Whatever it is for the same exact thing, and it cannot help but play out in exactly the way it needs to. And it goes easier and slower the more, or easier and quicker the more that you relax. All the healing, all the awareness, all the love, all the bliss, it comes faster. It goes easier the more you relax. It's the only thing there is to do. There's always just a little bit more. You can always see how you can relax a little bit more, right? Like, say, if you breathe into your belly and you sense how, we could relax and expand a little bit more. That's it. Everything is coming. The only thing that keeps it is this uptightness, this concern, real concern. I was sharing with one of my friends that you never have to be concerned about anything. You might put on a face of concern, but underneath that, you can be laughing. There's just no need to be concerned about anything ever. That is totally fake. But when you believe that you have something to be concerned about, like you take the thoughts that justify concern as if they're real, then it just makes it like it's real for you. It makes it like you're a concerned person, and all of a sudden you're not happy. You're not a happy person. You think you're not, though. Think you're not a happy person. But even if you thought you were not a happy person, you only thought you were not a happy person. I mean, even as a person, to properly represent the way you're created, you would be very, very happy. And that's natural. It's natural for every person to be very happy because of who they are behind that personhood. Only thing that makes people into a serious person is having a habit of believing in serious thoughts. But once that habit gets undone, what's left is a happy person. And then once all that's left is a happy person, not much longer before there's no person or world. And that's really the goal of the world, is to disappear the world. Not put an end to it. Doesn't need an end. It never really began. It's just stories spinning. And they're going to spin and burn themselves out and let them talk to each other and go back and forth until time ends. That's what brings about the end of time. Although if you chase them, if you chase worldly thoughts, then it's setting out more time. It's like it's extending time. Not lifetime, not this lifetime like that, but just in extending time as an extending experience as a separate self. That extending time to experience as a separate self. So these beliefs can get played out. So our wishes can be played out. Separate wishes. That's another thing that was really coming up this week and making itself abundantly clear, is that we have no separate interests. There's nothing that I want that can oppose what someone else wants. Those are false wants. They're totally meaningless, and they don't fit together, and they are not. What everyone wants, the only thing everyone wants, is their mind restored to what it is, and where awareness was aware of it before the thought of separation. What everyone wants is to get back to that. That's it. What they seem to want on the surface, what you seem to want on the surface, is just not relevant. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not relevant. It doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't say anything about them. It doesn't make any kinds of demands on you. Even if it looks like it, even if they think they're demanding, even if they're saying, I demand this of you. They're not doing that. It's not true. It's a facade. And, this doesn't mean to resist it. This doesn't mean to resist it. If you resist it, you make it real. The thing is about you perceiving it like that, that's the part that's not real. They're not doing anything wrong. They're doing awesome. They're doing awesome coming up and demanding something. Because you made them like that. You asked them to be like that. They're doing it for you. Just so that you can deny any truth to that, so you could look past it. And you'll see if you hear this and you just, it touches you and you feel like you're willing, you can make a commitment in your heart. You can make a commitment in your heart that when it comes up, you're going to be willing to see. You're going to be willing to see this. And then you'll start to get some space and some distance from what you're perceiving, as if you're being pressured, so to speak, cornered. Even a fearful feeling. Be willing to see that I made them like that. I asked them to say that, so I can know myself. It's super fun, and have fun. You deserve it. And you'll see that they didn't mean it. That's a promise. You'll be laughing with them, even the ones that you think that attacked you. Even if you think someone attacked you brutally. You'll find yourself laughing with them. What a wonderful performance. Can you believe how real that seemed? Wow, that seemed really true. I was so pissed at you. Good job. It's like acting, and for most people, they don't know they're acting. Here's a couple things where you can find out, you're acting. Like, say when you feel sick, say you're barfing, that's a good one. There's a lot of acting that goes along with that. A lot of facial expressions, noises, stuff like that. Watch it from the mindset. Watch it from the sense that this is a performance. It's a play. You're acting. Okay. Anything where it's like, oh, something stinks, and ooh, acting. Watch it like that. Any kind of pain. Tired. Anything like that. Watch it. Be willing to recognize it is acting. And as you watch it, you watch yourself acting and playing out these different roles. Oh, I just got hurt. I'm so tired. I'm sick. You're playing out these different roles. It gets to be lighter and lighter because you see what's going on. And you'll start to see the ulterior motive too for being sick, hurt, tired. You'll start to see the ulterior motive. It's really fun. Then you can either go along with it or not. It doesn't matter. As long as you're watching. You can't get it wrong. But you're going to know if you're in the position of watching and looking for guidance, asking for guidance, however it looks to you, being willing to look within for the solutions. As you're going like that, you'll see that everything gets lighter and so much easier. And it gets easier and easier to just trust that you have it all within you. No one's going to give it to you. There's nothing that you need to buy or learn. There's not the next big thing. There's not, I'm going on this journey where I take this certain kind of drug and then I think I'm going to be done with my PTSD after that, Like nothing that you seem to do on the surface, nothing that you seem to do in the world is going to bring about your salvation. Okay? You've heard you are your savior. It's not through doing stuff about it. It's not through even any meditation, any yoga, anything that you could perceive yourself doing in the world. I get this kind of question a lot. What do you think about this? Oh, I got one about dream interpretation today. And it's just like, it just really doesn't matter. You're getting the guidance all the time. Whatever you find yourself doing, within that you can receive the guidance, which takes willingness to receive the guidance and willingness to follow it once it's received. The guidance always has to do with where you go mentally. It always has to do with that. You'll get the sense of this is what I'm doing. You'll know that your energy is moving in a certain direction. This is what I'm doing right now. But what the guidance is, it's how you're looking at it, how you're regarding yourself in that. See, that's always what your guidance is. It's not what you should do. Your guidance is to do something when you find yourself doing it, or you find yourself planning for it or heavily leaning in that direction. That's how your guidance is for that. That's really automatic like that. The guidance with regard to how you take yourself and what healing can be accomplished right now, that is not about the world at all. And it does not matter what you find yourself doing. Whatever you find yourself doing, though, is perfect. You can say whatever you find yourself doing is sacred. Because within whatever you find yourself doing, you're getting all of these experiences and perceptions and more guidance as you go along for how to see through those things. So you see them, you know what they are, and you can look past them. One example of that is with food, like in looking past an illusion. A lot of us know a lot of nutritional information, like how certain food affects certain things. Might be mood, say it has an effect on the mind, has an effect on the body, different stuffs like that. And looking at that and saying, okay, this knowledge is something that occurs to me and there's nothing wrong with it. And at the same time, it's not really relevant. It's not really necessary. But if it plays out, it's okay. If that kind of stuff plays out, that's also okay. It's not like we have to try not to follow the nutritional concepts that we know about, and we don't have to try to follow them either. They could just be really light right there, and they could just play out however they play out. Because if you're always just tuning in to your spirit, everything that you're made to do is uplifting for you. It's always uplifting, and it's uplifting because there's no question about it. There's no question about what it's for. So there's no kind of guilty projection that can come off of that. You might say that you're not building up more karma off of it. You're not adding up more karma from it. Everything you find yourself doing can be an undoing of the guilty concept that makes you into a doer in the first place. There's truly nothing being done and no one to do anything. But having the perception that you do something and automatically believing that you're capable of doing it, it sets you up for feeling guilty. And there's no need for that. There's no need for that, except as you deem there being a need for it. That's all. That's why it's okay, and you could use every instance of it to undo what causes it.
I'm having there's a lot of decisions. It looks like a lot of decisions to be made in the moment and I'm seeing me constantly saying, should I do this? Should I do? I have never come across so many decisions. Today with Peter, he asked me something, if we should, and I just went, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just didn't know. And then you just wait and see, and whatever's going to happen happens.
Yeah, basically, I don't know yet. That's perfectly legitimate.
Yeah, I did not know. And then you see the body do whatever, call this person, not call this person, whatever. There really isn't a decision to make.
Right, because it's made for you. Yvette said, I just follow inspiration mostly, and I like keeping it light, except when I don't. You're so fun. Yes, and that's inspiration. That's just like when you offered to take care of the dog for your friends. It just comes right off of inspiration. You feel inspired toward it. You feel inspired. It's inspired action, also known as inspired action. And that's the spirit moving through you. Other than that, you make perceptions of following the ego's guidance. But anytime you're following the ego's guidance, it's like it has no effect. It's just over. As soon as it starts, it's over. Before it starts, it's over. It just has no effects. It only has whatever effects you've given to it, whatever kind of power you've given to it. That's why the power can be taken away in any moment. It doesn't even have to be worn down or anything. Just be taken away in any moment.
I'm not following that one. It could be it could be taken away at any moment. You
Yeah.
mean a decision from the should?
Well, just that sense that you have to perform. You have to come up with an answer.
Right.
Just that
It's,
sense that, that can just be taken from you, just like gone.
I gotcha. I
You don't.
gotcha.
There's no need to keep it. It's keeping it is only a habit. It's like when there's these decisions to be made, say decisions that are lingering or looming. There's these decisions to be made. It seems like there's this there's this heaviness. There's this. It's like there's things on your head. There's things weighing on your head, so to speak.
Well, because you think you could do it wrong. The
Yeah.
mind do it wrong, so yeah, it's heavy. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a sense of wanting to get it behind you, but you'll know what you need to know whenever you're clear on it. It's like inspiration, it's an inspired kind of feeling and knowing, and you don't have to know right away. That's part of that pressure thing, that feeling pressured, like you're supposed to do something at a certain time and hurry up.
Right.
That's just something that you make for yourself so you could see, oh, actually, I don't know right now. I'll look at that later and get back with you. And that just comes automatically once you're clear that this is all for play. That just comes automatically. And you could tell too when someone else gets the reaction from you, when someone gets the reaction, you can sense their reaction to you where it seems like they're cornered. And when you have that perception, you can easily, and you'll just be made to back off. Just back off again of them. Oh, does that sound like too much? Maybe that's too much. How about this? Just kind of like backing off. So you get that compassion for all and sacrifice for no one. And you're able to demonstrate that we can all have all of the love. We can all have all of the love. No one is special. There's no kind of special love or anything. We can all have all the love because we all have the same interests. And in fact, in order for any of our minds to be restored to sanity, everyone that we know, everyone in our perception, they have to go first in our minds. They have to go first in our minds. See, they have to be given that. They have to be given that freedom. It's kind of like it's kind of like you're their savior and they're yours. It's like when you allow them the freedom to be in that glory, that glory place where you really are, they can allow it for you. It's like a gift you give and it's given right back to you. And that's how we go together. We don't all need to become one in the sense as that you need anyone else to get on board with you, though. That's the beautiful thing. I'm not talking like this to get people to get on this and do it like this. It's for those who are interested in it. For those who are willing to see the truth. And for those who this resonates with. You absolutely do not need anyone else to join you like that on your mindset. In fact, everyone else can have different kind mindsets, different ways of seeing the world, and you can connect with them completely. They don't even need to be thinking in the same kind of terms as you do. You probably heard before, meet them where they are. Meet everyone where they are. Okay? Where they are is at one in love with you. At one in love with you. That'll allow whatever they're showing on the surface, whatever they need, that will just automatically be given to them. It's not even by you. It's through you, but not by you. You just accept who you are and accept anything that you perceive of them that looks selfish or greedy or mean or rude or lacking innocence or anything like that. Let yourself be aware that any of that has to be based on an error. You are not seeing them clearly. That's how the forgiveness happens. That's how clarity comes about, and that you can remind them of who they are. And as you remind them of who they are, you're also reminding yourself, and you're going, you could say, home together as one, not separate. You can't go by yourself. That's the way it is. You can't go by yourself. You have to let them go first. And you don't need them to be on your mindset. You get that?
I do.
Yay.
Because I had it in terms of my recent my sister. Wow, it was very good. That really helped me.
Sweet.
Because if you hold them, I mean, of course, if you hold them in contempt or whatever, that's not gonna. You're not gonna. That's not liberation for either. That's seeing through the ego.
Yeah. And so many times people don't realize that they are holding someone in contempt. You know, sometimes I hear from people and go, I don't hold anything against anyone, you know. But then their words and actions are totally saying the opposite of that, you know. It's just not realizing what it is to hold someone in contempt. It's even something like the thought, I can't believe they did that. Like they did something. They're even like they're getting fat because of the way that they eat. See, if you subject them to the laws of the world, you're also subjecting yourself to the laws of the world.
Of course.
Yeah, so don't subject, despite what you see, because what you see is not really true. What you see is the result of our decision to make ourselves vulnerable to worldly cause and effect and worldly laws, okay? So when you see it, you don't have to project it again or say re-believe it or re-project it or something. There's lots of ways of looking at that. You don't have to renew its energy, let's say. You can look on it and then look past it. And in recognizing it's only a play of the mind, no thing in the illusion actually has any kind of effect on another thing in the illusion. There's no way that any kind of disease is contagious. One thing, let's say a drunk driver can run into you. You know, none of these things can be affected like that. It's all the mind playing out. It's all the mind playing out. It's playing out these illusions as if these bodies are vulnerable, as if any body is vulnerable to something else. And it's playing that out of the belief that we separated ourselves and made ourselves vulnerable. And even though we're not vulnerable, we can totally get the perception that we are and take that to be real, make it look so true and meaningful that we'll take that to be real, and then we won't be able to laugh at everything. And then people can't laugh about things, especially things that feel heavy, like hate and rape and genocide and murder and death and things like that. There's like these certain things where we keep them so serious, never laughing at them, and that's what holds them in place in the first place. You know, we have a really mad idea about ourselves right now, propped up. It's propped up kind of like an idol around which the world spins. This idea that we separated ourselves from reality, this sense of fear and this call for punishment. That's what the world is set up as, but that's not really its purpose. It's not its real purpose. That's what it appears to do, but that's not its real purpose. its real purpose is for seeing through the thought, the original thought that we separated ourselves from reality, the original thought that we separated ourselves from one another. That's what gives the appearance of these separate bodies. The thought that one body can harm another, it's not true. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a little baby. People asked me before, well, what are you saying? Like there's a little baby and there's like a 40-year-old man doing something horrible to that little baby. It's like there's no man and there's no baby. And that doesn't mean that on the surface, this thing can't be handled. It's not only on the surface, this whole situation can't be handled. However it's handled, it doesn't matter. I'm saying that it doesn't matter because it's coming from your heart. It's coming from you. It's about how you feel about yourself. It's always showing how you feel about yourself. So it's allowing you in that moment to have that kind of perception. The whole reason you would be having that kind of perception is to return to love. And you cannot return to love without the ones that you're perceiving. So that means the baby is, if the baby is made into a victim, that's what's going on. You're making yourself into a victim. If you're making the man into a perpetrator, you're making yourself into something that's guilty. You're getting all of the effects of this stuff and you're projecting it out into the world. So it's giving you an opportunity just to even have the perception of something like that, even the thought of it coming up, let's say even right now as a thought comes up, to recognize what it's for. See, when it goes back to all innocence, when there's a willingness to see everything as innocence, that'll become your experience. That'll become your experience, that it is all innocence. So you don't have to be projecting this fearful feeling, all these different feelings, it all comes down to fear. So you're not projecting this fearful feeling that like there's a perpetrator and there's a victim. On the other hand, you're not needing to project that. So in that space, it just gets taken care of beautifully, gracefully. Everyone ends up getting the support that they need. They're getting the support that they need through your relaxation. You don't even have to know the parties involved. You don't even have to know the parties involved. Just hearing about it, even right now, it's enough. It's enough. One way to say it is transmute the energy. It's like this energy of an upset should be really upset, so to speak. Should be really upset. And it's like, wait a minute, if it feels upsetting, it must be make-believe. I must be making this up. I must be dreaming. And the illusion will show you, yes, in fact, you're dreaming. And as you recognize you're dreaming, you're allowing healing for the confused mind. You're allowing those ones who think that they're guilty, those ones who think that they're victims, they go hand in hand. They just go back and forth all the time. You're allowing them to see who they are, for that to be revealed to them. If we're not allowing ourselves to laugh at sensitive subjects at the risk of offending another person who appears to be victimizing with the subject, is that reinforcing a belief in something worthy? See, it all comes down to accepting whatever it is that happens to be arising in the expression, everything. And seeing, allowing yourself to be whatever the expression is, allowing the expression to be the expression. See, when you're not caring about the expression, you're not even caring about the expression, because you're listening to your guidance as in how to look at this. You're listening to your guidance as in how to look at this. You are not caring about how you express yourself in the perception. Okay, so if you're say you're at a funeral and it's not, and laughing wouldn't be the most healing thing, you're going to know that right away. You're just not going to. But if you have a concept that says I should be laughing, then that's a different story. See? If you're going off of concepts, you're not listening. That's the thing about listening. It's only right now. It's not planning for it. It's not saying how I would be in any kind of situation. I don't know. I don't know. I have to listen because I don't know what's best for me or anyone else. I never do. But yeah, definitely allowing yourself to laugh anytime, anytime. And really you're laughing at yourself because you made it up. See? You're laughing at yourself, but not in a way that you're bad or stupid or anything like that. It's just like, look, I made it up. And look, I made myself believe it for a second. It's amazing. But whether you're outwardly laughing, that I would say just don't leave that up to you. Just don't even leave that up to you, whether you're outwardly laughing. You don't even need to care about that. It just comes naturally. Okay. So hooray, everyone. So allow the reaction to come naturally, but keep the self dissociated from identifying as the doer of the reaction. Doer of the reaction. Yeah, just allow the reactions to come up. And any thought to try to justify the reaction or try to associate that reaction with you, just notice it. Yvette says, breathe in bliss, breathe out aloha. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, everyone. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, I will be signing off. I love you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Yay. I've been having so much fun. You guys are the best. Awesome. Mikolis. I think I'm saying that right now. He gave me a pronunciation. Thank you, Mikolis. Mahalo, Yulia. I love you. So go to hopejohnson.org for my blog and stuff like that. Oh, I did a blog in case you didn't see it. I did it on the Unschooling for Parents page where I took all of the chronological posts that I did about Dylan and I put them in order on a blog post. Oh, I love you. Thank you. So sweet.
Oh, how's he doing?
How's he doing? I think he's doing awesome. I sent a box today and he's got some presents. He got some good cash in there. He's going to be stoked about the cash. And some presents and some nice cards. And Bob wrote him a beautiful card. And he's doing great. I talked with his dad, and they're practicing not disciplining him and using something different, like just talking to him and saying, "Hey, those people don't like that," or whatever. People don't like it when you're just cussing around the neighborhood and it's the suburbs. But it's not like you're in trouble and you have to suffer some consequence from it. So that's really encouraging. I'm super happy to hear that. Nice. I'm sure everyone's stoked to be loved and loving. That's really sweet. Yeah. So I put it on hopejohnson.org. It's in the blog. Maybe search for Dylan. Yeah, that's a good way. Search for Dylan. Also, Miracle Botanicals. We're rocking it. We're coming out with new blends all the time and having such a fun time. So check it out. Go to miraclebotanicals.com. Look under new products. You'll see some awesome stuff. You'll see some really cute banners. We're also on Instagram. Hope Johnson Author on Instagram. Miracle Botanicals on Instagram. And yeah, that's enough plugging for today. Thank you to everyone who donates. I really appreciate that. You could also donate to me on my website, hopejohnson.org. And thank you to everyone who donates time and energy. Anyone who has time and energy and feels inspired to donate that, contact me. That's so fun. I appreciate you. I love you so much. I'll be here next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Hawaii time. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.